So this is going to be a simple pergola over where the barbecue will sit, and pavers will be running all the way to the outdoor room there, limestone pavers. So it's going to be a simple pergola, 4 posts, the back 2 stirrups into the retaining wall, and the front 2 sunk into the ground. So whenever you need to put timber into the ground, needs to be H4 treated, which survives in-ground applications, whereas H3, which they are good outside but not in the ground. So they'll sit on those stirrups on the retaining wall to create 4 posts, and then the pergola goes on top of those 4 posts. So I've dug the holes down 600mm, 2 foot, to take these H4 posts. H4 is preserved to go in the ground, whereas H3 is for outside use but not in the ground. See, H4 will be okay in the ground, it won't rot. And digging wise, we're pretty clay soil here, so I use the trenchinator and the post hole digger, and bit by bit down 600. So they have to be exact because they sit in the gaps between the 175mm gap between the pavers. These are 112mm thick, 112mm square, so it's fairly exacting. You've got to get 112mm post to sit in the middle of a 175mm gap. So all the pavers have been laid, and the posts sit in that slot where I measured them to be. So I'm here getting coach screws and bolts for the pergola. This is the stirrup that sits on the retaining wall that takes 2 of these at the back, post each, and these are held into the retaining wall with Dynabolts. These are called Dynabolts. These are all 10 gauge, all 10mm, and that's short enough to clear the top and get through that hole, but long enough to bite into the retaining wall. So it's a 50mm Dynabolt, and then the post sits on top of this platform here, and you need coach screws. This is a coach screw, hex head, that screws into the post through that plate and holds them securely, so you need 2 of those each post. These are all galvanized as well, of course, and there's 2 types of long bolts you can use for the pergola, the beams and rafters up the top. This is a hex head bolt, 130mm, to get through the whole width of the post, so you can get a spanner on each end of that and tighten it up. You can get this, these are a cup head, but you can't get a spanner on that end of it because it's up against the post, so you're relying on that square end to bite into the post, and I don't think it's as secure. You want a bolt that has a hex head on it like that you can tighten. You can't get a spanner into that to tighten to really sandwich that beam to the post. So I'm getting 8 of these hex head 130mm galvanized bolts. So I've completed the front beam, and I'll show you how I've done these back posts here. Front one's sunk into the ground with concrete, of course. These ones here are with stirrups. These are coach screws up here. Those coach screws I got at the hardware, and these are the Dynabolts I got at the hardware. Drilling a 10mm hole, and I drilled an 8mm hole for the coach screws so they bite into the timber. And then I have notched out each of the posts to accept the beam, and I've used those 130mm bolts going right through, 2 on each end of the beam, and I've just cut that corner off 100mm down at an angle, a 45-degree angle, 100mm down from the top, just to make it a little more pleasing to the eye. Now do the same for the back posts.